Hello, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Toma, and on this channel, I share a lot about lifestyle, my experience in Canada, because I am almost a year in Canada. So this is one question I get frequently on my Instagram. People ask me this kind of questions because they are coming into the country either as permanent residents or as students, and they are confused. Let me say this for like permanent residents, because as a student, the school you apply to is where you would normally go. You might not have the option of like you changing. For most people, like they already know where they're going to, they know the province they are going to. So before I like go into the video in detail, this video is going to be addressing two provinces in Canada that most people are like confused about on where to go to. Where should I settle in Canada, basically? So guys, I'm going to be talking about Ontario and Alberta. These are like the most populous provinces in Canada. Or let me just say, if you think of Canada, they might not be the most populous in terms of like density. Come to think about it, yes, Ontario is, statistics and everything, Ontario is, but I don't know where Alberta really sits, like in terms of the people, the population and everything. There might even be more people in British Columbia and Quebec, but most people will not even talk about those provinces. But the first on the list would normally be Ontario, and the second usually is Alberta. So I get this question most times, and many people want to know, to me, which province should I go to? Which one is the better one? Which one is the best? I don't know. I can't say this one is the better one. I just felt to do this like lengthy video to explain what I really mean, and I'll be posting this on Instagram as well, because this is me saying it the way I would want to say it. I've had a lot of debates. I've posted it on Instagram. I've done like Instagram stories where I ask people like, okay, send me your questions, send me what you think and everything like that. And most people in Alberta would be like, oh, Alberta is the best province, it's a no-brainer, don't even think about it, it's Alberta or nothing. And I'll be like, okay, I see you, I get you, I hear you and everything like that. And this has gone on and on and on my page. And because I allow people just like say, okay, what do you think? For someone that is coming into Canada for the first time, they don't have any experience, they don't even know how life is, where should they go to? I'll be saying things from my own personal experience, and I'll be leaving you guys as well to please drop it in the comment section for people who do not absolutely know, who do not have an idea of what to do. Remember, I said it in the beginning that this might address permanent residents more. As a student, probably you already know the province you're going to. Before you even left your country, before you left anywhere you're coming from, you already know that this is the province you're going to. The school you're applying to is definitely in a province. Some people actually change when they come into Canada. You can change from one province to the other, but I think this question behoves more on permanent residents. They are the ones that I feel they typically ask me this kind of questions for several and for so many reasons. So first of all, like most people know, and like you guys are also going to be finding out, I currently live in Ontario, Canada. I came into Canada almost a year ago, like I said, and the first place I landed, I have not gone to any other province in Canada before in my life. This is the first time of me being in Canada, and though I have lived in other places in the world and all that, but this is my very first experience in Canada. And I actually wanted Ontario. I know many people will say, oh, Ontario is expensive, it has a very high cost of living. I hear that, I see that, and I know that. So, but one thing I don't want people to like take to bed and to just conclude on is that Ontario is bad. So I am not an ambassador for Ontario. I won't say, oh, come to Ontario by all means. The major reason why I'm going to be doing this video, you're going to be finding out that very shortly. So because I have seen a lot of people who are confused, who do not genuinely know what to do, and I have interacted with a lot of people, and I asked them like, the major reason why I'm going to be doing this video is, don't judge another person's story with yours, or don't judge your story with another person, or how would I even put it? Basically that, like, you can't use another person's benchmark to define yours, so to say. I hear people say, oh, Alberta is the best place to be, is the best province because it has low cost of living, people are friendlier and everything. And that's basically what I see, and that's what I hear most times. But I will tell anybody, there's no better or best province as far as I am concerned, as much as it is to my knowledge. At the end of the day, I am very sure that you are different from that other person in almost every single way. In terms of career, did you guys study the same thing? Do you have the same kind of like help and support? Where do you have support? That's the thing for me, number one. Some people might have more support in Manitoba. You might not even know anybody in Ontario. You might not know anybody in Alberta to start with. For me, I would rather gravitate towards where I find or have support. That for me is not even the major thing, because I have support where I am currently, and none of these people are like my family. I have gotten a lot of support, but mine is different because I am a social media person. Once I share a video, people reach out to me, and I've been able to like make friends and have a lot of relationships. But everybody is not like me, so I won't even advise everybody that, oh, okay, once you come to Ontario you'll find people, because they might not even be social media people. Your own support might be in terms of like church, in terms of like your religion, in terms of like people you know. So number one, where do you know people? Where do you feel people can help you? Where do you feel your children, if you have children, can be wanted, can feel welcome? That's like not even the major thing for me. The first one, let's go back to the first thing for me, is in terms of career. I know some people say that, oh, there are no jobs in Ontario. I hear that, I see that. At the same time, I am hearing people saying, oh, I got a job in 2 weeks, I got a job in a month, I got a job in 3 weeks. On the flip side, I know people too that are in Alberta. I'm not saying this to condemn them, of course, or haven't gotten jobs. So I don't want you to go with the mindset like, oh, in Ontario, I won't get a job. In Alberta, I will get a job. No, because this is me being neutral. This is me being in the middle. This is me seeing people in Alberta, in Saskatchewan, in Manitoba, who have been here for 4, 5, 6 months, who have not gotten jobs. On the other hand, I have seen people in Ontario who have landed jobs in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks, in a month of them landing. Have I seen people in Ontario too who have not gotten jobs? Yes. Because at the end of the day, what drives a lot of us is the ability to earn. So if you're not earning where you are currently, you have to look for where you can earn. So I won't even say job-wise. I won't even mention job, because job is kind of limiting. Some people are actually like business people, and at the end of the day, it is the ability to earn and earn well, and earn to thrive, earn to pay your bills, earn to have your family live comfortably and everything like that. So you should ask yourself, where do I see my potential? I see people in Alberta, some people are like perhaps oil workers. If someone like is an oil worker goes to Alberta, which I have seen, I have heard, they might thrive well because their jobs are in demand. They might be able to like easily find a job. On the other hand, I've seen people that perhaps you're like an education worker, an early childhood person. Your job is in demand in Ontario. Have you asked yourself that? Before you go on to Alberta and you're just following people to say, oh, cost of living is cheaper in Alberta, and you're just going there. Is your job in demand in Alberta? I've seen it. The reason I'm doing this video with passion, because I know someone that came to my DM and she was planning to come to Ontario before, and she said, oh, they told me not to come to Ontario, that Ontario is not for immigrants. And I was like, am I not an immigrant? Every other person here, nobody was born here, so to say. A lot of us were not born here. Many of us were not born here. Ontario does not have my umbilical cord. But where do I see myself thriving? Where do I see me being in demand? Like, where do I see myself? Like, the person that is telling you to come to Alberta, is the person going to offer you a job? Is the person going to, is their job security good there? Don't get me wrong, Ontario is expensive, very, very, but expensive is also very related, because at the end of the day, I see people, a lot of people also gravitate towards the city area. Toronto, the greater Toronto area, Mississauga, people stay there because their jobs are in demand and they're okay. Some other times, some people just believe these are the only places in Ontario and they choose to stay there. What I pay as rent is what some other person might be paying almost ×2 off. And that's the truth. I stay in a place that is not, as at the time I came, it was not very, very saturated. Cost of living was a bit lower. rent was a bit lower. So I chose this place in Ontario, and I just wanted to be in the midst of everything. On the other hand, some people are like living in other parts of Ontario that is more expensive. So when people like that talk about Ontario, that is the mindset a lot of people have, like Ontario is expensive. Don't get me wrong, housing in Ontario is expensive. On the other hand, you still see like very good accommodation. Like I shared a house on my page some days ago, a 2-bed, very nice house and everything that is going for $2,200. And in Ontario, not far from where I stay, very comfortable, 2-bed, 2-bath. And somebody in Alberta reached out to me and said, is that in Ontario? And I was like, yes, it's not even far from where I live. And from this place to like the city side is about 45 minutes. And she's like, oh, they told me to come to Alberta and I'm paying about 2,000 for about the same, for about like this kind of house. And I was like, well, I don't know. Does that mean that where she's paying for in Alberta is the most expensive? No. There might be like some places that are lower, but at the end of the day, all these things measure up. So what I'm trying to say is, expensive in Ontario too is relative. Some people are paying 5,000 for rents. Some people are paying 2,000 for rents. Some people buy, and in fact, I noticed this thing. My friend lives in somewhere close to the Toronto. She was, I don't know, she was like, told me, I can swear on this. What I spend in McDonald's over there is different from what I spend in the McDonald's in your area. And I was like, me, I don't know. I don't know. She was like, told me it's more expensive. I was like, is McDonald's not supposed to be the same thing? To her, she feels like groceries are even more expensive in that area. And she was like, by the time I'm buying my house, I am definitely not going to consider that place. I'm going to look like somewhere towards like the back or something. Some people feel it is a lot farther, but it all depends. It depends on your job. It depends on a lot of things. At the end of the day, you can't use one person's own to measure your own. In this same Ontario, guys, I'll put a picture. I have seen houses. I have seen people thrive. I have seen people paying for 2 million houses. Is house 2 million in Alberta? Probably not. I'm sure the house they are saying for 2 million will cost like maybe 700K in Alberta, which is a lot of money. In Ontario, it's expensive. In Alberta, it's okay. Do you understand? But at the end of the day, what I tell myself is people that are buying those houses, they don't have two heads and all that. So for me, no matter, let's not even go into housing yet. That one is even still very far. At least the immediate thing is cost of rent, ability to like settle your bills without any issues or without hassles or anything like that. Your children should live well. Your family should live well. Those basic things. Can you get it in Ontario? Yes. Think of your job. Think of your family. Think of if you're a husband and wife. Think of where you have like your jobs. If your job is, just do your research. If your job is in demand in Alberta, please go to Alberta by all means. You shouldn't be coming to Ontario. As a health worker or as a health worker, most times your job is in demand in almost everywhere in Canada. It might be more easier in like other provinces, let's say like maybe Newfoundland, the kind of license or what it will take you to obtain your license here. It might be easier for you in other places like that, but it does not mean that your job is not even still in demand here. The crux of my video is, if you compare Alberta to Ontario, there's no best province. Trust me, I came to Ontario for several reasons. I keep saying it, I've mentioned it before time and again. I came because for job-wise, I looked at where I could earn more. I looked at my own situation. I looked at my husband's situation. It was no-brainer. For my husband is Ontario. For me too, it was like a no-brainer. It was Ontario. I was just like favored that Ontario was the province that even nominated us to come, and we had to even settle in Ontario. I've had a few people tell me that, oh, Tommy, probably after when you've spent 3 years in Ontario and you can like move to other places, you might move to another place. And I was like, even if they give me, as at today, if they give me a free ticket, free house, I might probably not go to another province. Do I see myself thriving here? I think so. So that's the thing for me. I look at our ability to earn, and I like the for us work wise and everything. We are like in the middle. We are like in the hub. I find it easier to like stay here, work here because North America wise, I want to be close to Mexico. I want to be close to America, to the United States, and for me, Ontario gives me that opportunity in so many ways: mental, physical. My house is just about it's less than an hour drive to New York if I want to go to the New York, if I want to go to the United States, if I want to be in New York and before 5 p.m. I'll be in New York before 5 p.m. I might not have that ability if I was in another province. So I'm talking for myself, and that is what I want everybody. If you're a new immigrant, these are the things you should be researching on. Don't just get on the plane and say, oh, they said cost of living is cheaper there. It's going to be cheaper there, but your earning ability, will it give you that cheaper thing? You might be here, cost of living is high, but what you are earning might be enough. I said it again, I have said it before and I'm saying it again. I know Ontario can be expensive. It also depends on where in Ontario you are settling in. The cost of rent for me is what some people are paying times 2 of. This I know very, very well. And people that are in Ontario can even attest to this as well. So it's so many things. It's so many factors, so many things. For me, top of it is job-wise, ability to earn, and community. And when you see yourself thriving, I'm not even going to go into weather and all those other things. Let's not even go into all that, because people live in all these places and they are still living fine. Nothing is happening to them. I'm not even talking in terms of weather or any other thing. Let's not even go into that, because those are the things that people talk about. For me, top on the list, these two things: ability to earn and community. Where do you see people more? Where do you see yourself like planted more? Like if you want to be in the middle of everything, where do you see yourself like thriving basically? Those are the questions I need you to ask yourself before you just go and say, okay, they said Alberta is the best place to be, Saskatchewan is the best place to be, Ontario is the best place to be. There's no best. Trust me. For me, that's my conclusion. There's no best. It depends on you. It depends on your family dynamics. It depends on your spouse, it depends on your children, it depends on everybody around you. Some people choose to stay in Manitoba knowing that they can invite other family members. So it's a whole lot of different things. Do your research, count your costs, draw up your plan, and before you now decide to come, those are the things you should be discussing with yourself and probably your family members on why you should take that step on going to that province. I hope I have been able to convince you and not confuse you that there's no best province in Canada. Anywhere is good. Anywhere your feet finds and lucky, you know that this is where it is for you. That's the best place. So what might be best for me might not be best for my neighbor. What might be best for my neighbor might not be best for me. That's just it. There's no best province. Whatever is best for you is what is actually best for you. For me, Ontario is best for me. It might not be best for even my brother, because we even have that conversation. My own blood brother feels like Ontario might not be the place. So you understand? He likes it, is considering it for the community. But in terms of like work, it's already like, I don't think. Do you understand? So those are the things. So in terms of like maybe community, we're like, okay, at least before I get a job, probably this person can absorb me. So those are all the questions we can be asking ourselves. So that is why, guys, I did this video. If you enjoyed this video, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and please don't forget to also follow me on Instagram. I share a whole lot on Instagram. Like every single day, something good goes out, and people always tell me that they love my page. So please don't be a stranger. Kindly follow me on Instagram as well. My Instagram handle is @the_Tomi_Adenuga. @the_Tomi_Adenuga. I'll see in my subsequent videos, and I have another video coming up. So if you are coming to Ontario, I can speak for Ontario alone, and you're looking for like places, because this is another question I get regularly, like, okay, I don't want to settle in the city area, I don't want to settle in Toronto or the GTA. Where else can I stay that it's not so bad, like it's not inside, it's not like outskirts or something, and where I can still get like access to like work and everything like that? I have another video coming out, so please be on the lookout for that. I'll see you in my subsequent videos. Stay blessed. Bye.